What's going on? What's going on? Hey, Pertis Williams here with the audit. We're going to close it on out. Project Humanity, you know how we do it. We go ahead and get right into it. Now, take a look at this diagram real quick for me. This diagram is a representation of what we're going to be talking about. In order to explain it easy, because remember, I'm a terrible teacher. Some things just are. I'm going to use an example like the solar system first, and then we're going to talk about what this diagram actually is supposed to represent, a city. Now, let's go solar system first. Solar system first. We know that the sun is the heaviest thing in the solar system. It's actually heavier than all the planets put together, right? Right. All right. So even if, excuse me, Jupiter is being the largest planet, it's still not as heavy as the sun if you put all the planets into it. So, similar to a city, no matter how many people you have living out in the suburbs, guess where most of the people live? In the city. Why? You probably have never thought about the why. Well, why is because guess where 99% of the apartment complexes are? You guessed it, in the city. You know, they complain about apartment complexes once you go out so far into the suburbs. They don't want that kind of, eyesore, they like to call it. They might have a few high level, real nice places, but not a lot of apartment complexes. Those people sitting on some acres. So you're you're looking at population being similar to the solar system. The mass or the greatest number is in the center. So now when we look at this from the reason for this final audit, I had some other things I wanted to talk about, but I said they don't really matter. This is the only real point I want to try to get into. It's a visual illusion you've been seeing, and it's kind of like when my grandfather used to say, I may not be the best reader, but I can count my money because your boss will cheat you. It's shocking to me that after a good day's work or whatever, Friday come, you get your check and they cheat you. But we are living in the land of lie, cheat, and steal, and we need to be honest about that. These are not good people we dealing with on a daily basis. A lot of people will, go with what's trending rather than what's right. And so you just got to kind of be honest with yourself. And that's the reason for a lot of what's about to take place for me in 2025. I got to be honest with myself. To thine own self be true first. Quit lying to you. Because you like to lie to you. For some reason, you like to lie to yourself. You like to think that everybody is a good person, and they are not. You make mistakes, you admit it, you come clean, take your licks. Most people don't do that. Most people will lie, cheat, steal, manipulate in order to cover up and hide. So it's hard to gauge them unless you just say, people are liars and no gooders. And then you don't really want to associate with liars and no gooders up to the point where you're close to damn near by yourself. So, hard thing to do here in America, a land of lie, cheat, and steal. It's the hustle world over here. They claim to be one thing and ain't nowhere near it. But let's get back to this diagram. Back to the lie, cheat, and steal. You have to think about how many people are in an apartment complex. Go visit one, drive around, see how many units are in it, then do some math. For every unit, there's about what 4 to 8 uh, apartments. They go up to hundreds sometimes. And then you look at how many people are in each apartment. You can average it out at 2 to 3. Just on an average, because they have the 1 to 2 and 3 bedrooms in most apartment complexes. So some apartment complexes may have upwards of 10,000 people in those complexes, and multitudes, some of them bigger than that. But we just say a small 10. Now, when you look at the suburbs, you have houses scattered out. Most of the families aren't as big as they used to be. It's no daddy, mama, 7 kids. It's, dad, mom, two, three if you're lucky. So you still out here in the suburbs, houses, not apartments. Now the numbers go down tremendously per acre. Now the lines that you see, those represent highways. And just like in a city, in the city, you're going to see most of the people who live in the city. If you're on the highways out by the suburbs, you're going to see most of the people who live out in the suburbs. So, visually, and this is where the numbers are easy to use against you because visually, it looks like a whole lot of people when you're out in the suburbs because that's all you see in the suburbs. And you also see them when they come to work in the city. Now, you, for instance, who live in the city, hardly ever go out to the suburbs. So you're never really seen out there as a visual in number. Hope that didn't lose you. See, if I'm, commuting from one place to another, I have a visual in two locations. But if I only live here and I never go anywhere else, my visual representation is only here in this location. I'm never visualized here. And when I am, it's like, oh, pull him over, arrest him. What are you doing out here? Make sense? I live out here, but I work here. I work here and I live here. So that's your visual representation, which adds 2 times as many to your number visually. So I can tell you that it's X amount of people and be lying. Now, one of the things that is true, you see that video where the lady's talking about she's a Native American and they try to turn her white. Well, in the past few years, with internet and everything, we found out that when people come over here from the Middle East or pretty much any other country, they're labeled as white. So you're looking at, again, numbers being added to just because. So when I tell you what your numbers are, you believe it. You believe you 13%. You believe you 14%. Now, what do your eyes tell you? What do your eyes Now, on TV, it tell you one thing, and that's because I got all of y'all at a football game. I got all of y'all sitting in the House of Representatives. I got all of y'all sitting in this building. Massive amounts of us in here. But what do your eyes tell you when you out here in these streets? When you out here in the city, massive amounts of who? Massive amounts of y'all that look like me. Massive amounts. Now, again, when I tell you the suburbs are houses spread out and the city is apartment complexes crushed in, stacked on top of each other, that's a lot of people working day and night shifts. Cities don't stop. It's people stacked on top of people working all the time. They eat their lunch at work. So you don't see them out and about during lunchtime. You see the commuters. That's one of the benefit the commuter gets. The commuter has the job that pays very well. They drive into work. They making two, 300,000, $500,000 a year. They doing good. They going out to lunch, and that's why you see the city during the daytime packed full of commuters. It's a visual double for you to see and increase this lie I tell you all the time about the population. Now, something we already know, especially as dark skinned folks. Now, it's probably a lot of poor people. I'm gonna say poor people. I ain't gonna say black folks only because A lot of people lived off the grid before 2020. Before the pandemic, there's a whole lot of people that were just making money, not paying taxes. They didn't have driver's license, nothing. I know some of them people. So those people got driver's license during COVID because they were giving out money. Now, if you ever want to get people to change their ways, give them some money. Change their morals. Be different. Give them some money. Make people start paying taxes by giving them some money. So the numbers got a little more accurate in 2020, even though nobody did a census. Did you do a census in 2020? Do you remember the 2020 census that happens every 10 years? I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I filled out anything. So again, we're looking at this map and this population. And the reason I need you to actually pay attention to what I'm about to say next is because it's probably the most important thing. You've seen that video of that lady saying they tried to turn her white. She was Native American. Now I was talking to this older gentleman, call him black for today. He's dark brown. He said that America was Indians everywhere. We just say Indian. Native Americans everywhere. Black ones, white ones, Mexican ones. He was Native Americans everywhere. They all look different, all different colors. And we already know it when you come over here from the Middle East, what color you get to choose. That was an easy choice too, I'm sure. You know what? Shit, what would I choose if I was dark skinned? I want to classify. I want to identify as white too. Shit. If it's just paperwork, and we can identify, I want to identify with good credit. So you're looking at the people who are already here, and you're saying you're gonna have to classify. And one of my favorite topics is talking to black people to say, "Hey, our genes are so strong and blah blah blah." Okay. Well, explain to me that you're only 2 generations away from your your grandkids being white. If you have a white partner, that baby's gonna be light skinned. And if they get a white partner, that baby, you're gonna barely be able to tell they got black in them. And we got many examples of this. We have cousins who were at one time, my color. They've blended in and passing. That's what they used to call it back in the olden days. They passing that. So we don't want to talk about those things that we know are true and look at that. Our light skinned brothers and sisters they had to classify as white or, get put on a reservation. You had to classify as black or get put on a reservation. Now, the sad stories out here, but they still snatch those kids from those reservations and turn a lot of them white because we need to pad these numbers. And just as fast as book typing came in, 1904, book burning came in. Book burning and book typing go hand in hand. They like brother and sister. They even doing it to you right now. And what you doing? You typing in on Instagram and we complaining on Facebook. I'm tweeting about it. That's what we doing. The change don't come from your tweets. Just like I said, I've been out here in the streets marching, done that, been there, saw it, see what real change comes from. And it doesn't come from marching. It does not come from marching. I'm going to say, if the children ask me today, does it come from voting? I honestly wouldn't be able to tell them it does. Because what I've seen with my own eyes, not somebody else telling me, but I've seen with my own eyes, our voting system sucks. How they do it sucks. People in charge sucks. Ain't no regulations. There's no nothing orderly about it. I thought we could have just been at the bingo and had better security. So I wouldn't be able to tell the youth of the day, get out here and vote. Your vote matters. I wouldn't be able to tell that to them honestly. Not after what I saw. You can actually see it on the page, Project Humanity. I recorded it. Looks like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to lie to those kids like that. You can lie and say it's gonna give. Dr. King got killed, what, 1969? Yeah, that was before I was born. I'm 51. Tell me how again it's gonna get better? That's what I thought. Okay. Keep trying, but you're compromised. So you're not even trying if you compromise. And I don't mean you compromise. You know you're compromised. So when you talk to the older people and they tell you, we didn't hear about no Africa until y'all went to school. People here were black, white, Mexican, and they were all Native Americans. Them books came in, that paperwork came in, that the land of this queen came in, that army came in, that alcohol came in. That's something we don't want to discuss. But that alcohol was just as bad as them bullets. But when things came in, people forgot, people got lazy, and people went alone. The party was more important than the fight. Go look it up. They tell you all of these things in those typed out books. Again, this is the audit. This is not your history lesson. These are things that I found out over the past, you know, 6 years, basically out here traveling the country, talking to people, putting the puzzle together. How is it that this person, this white as snow, blonde hair, blue eyes, telling me they great grandmama was a Native American? How dare you tell me such thing, you European? Huh, ain't from Europe. At least his great grandmama would. My great grandmama, Native American too. Granddaddy hair smooth like silk. Native parent, somewhere in the blood. And again, if grandmama was a native and granddaddy was whoever would fuck, that's half Native American. And that's why I try to tell these people out here, and again, I can't argue with you. It's not a reparations that we should be looking for as a group of dark-skinned people. It's restitution we should be looking for as a nation of people. Because a nation of people lost their land. And that's why I recommend, if you're going to sign some executive orders, then persons who have houses, family houses, not commercial property, but family property shouldn't pay taxes. Once they buy and pay off the house, they own the land too. No tax. Now, of course, you need to keep it up and make sure it don't look terrible and, mess up the property value of the people. Right? But again, that's something that the executive ordered. Another thing, teachers, minimum wage should be $200,000 a year. That should be teachers' minimum wage. Every school should be funded equally. The rich school out here is state funded, government funded, city funded, and they getting however many dollars a month. Whatever school is in the middle of the city, brokest people in the same money a month, the same computers, the same kind. Like I said, don't come to me with what they doing in this executive order stuff. If y'all like fuck them kids, every school should be funded equally. Don't where you get the money from? Quit making so many damn bombs. That's where you get it from. Learn how to go and talk to people. You're not monkeys no more. Learn how to go and talk to people. Quit sending these people kids off to war. Another reason I'm glad I ain't got no damn children. Y'all ain't here voting for people who want to send your kids to war, making threats to people who ain't here, who won't take us a place. You want to sign some executive orders, shit. Sign some that actually matter, that affect these people's lives. No taxes on groceries. Executive order. How about that? Things that actually will affect these people's lives. So these people, didn't say lies. These people have been lied to, but you love to lie. Again, it's written in that book y'all like. There ain't nobody read. You love the lie so much that God just, I don't know what the word was. This harden their hearts like Pharaoh, basically. So now you're gonna believe the lie, if you believe that. So again, let's go back to the diagram and get to this weight issue, because your numbers cannot be accurate if you do your own research. Quit using somebody else's research. I don't know, did I say this on this take or was it the last one? I'm gonna say it again either way. This might be this take 4. But my granddaddy said he couldn't read good, but he could count his money, but his boss would rob it. So you don't think somebody will lie to you. This stuff is about money. If I can pad the numbers, I can steal the money. If you not believing me, use your eyes and go see it for yourself. Drive around in the city. Check out the apartment complexes. You've passed some. I've passed a complex, didn't know it was there. I promise you, 20 years probably. Huge complex. They got it behind some trees. It's down a little road. I ain't never had a reason to go down that road. Big old complex down that road. Gang of folks. You be wondering where all these people live. Hiding behind some trees. They had an apartment complex in Atlanta I used to live in, Hidden Point. It was hidden. You driving down the street, unless you look over there, you really paying attention not to try to hit anybody. You see trees. And then eventually you might see a glimpse of a piece of glass or something through the bushes. Hidden Point. So the numbers are not right at all. The people, you got Indian in your family, people. All of us. Native American. You got grandma Indian in your family. See, you think you from Europe. He think he from Africa. All y'all from here. Your history's been covered up and whitewashed. You had to choose which one of these check marks you're gonna be. That's why I say we're not fighting for reparations, fighting for restitution. Nobody should be paying property taxes. This ain't let's take a, no. We need to sit down and talk. We need to figure out what we're gonna do next. Education has failed. Your plan to do whatever the hell you're doing, well, look out the window. Look at the world. Do you think you're doing a good job as our leadership? And I know they keep putting you back in there. That's why I'm quitting, because I ain't saying I'm quitting. I'm like, I'm taking a serious break because they keep putting you back in there. So some people like suffering. But I'm like this old man said once, I don't vote and I don't complain. I'm going to try that out. Take my feelings out of this shit. No voting and no complaining. Because I'm outnumbered and stupid. I'm way outnumbered. Y'all like teams way too damn much. And I mean way too much. You are loyal to them teams. Black team, white team, the lady team, the man team, the damn football team, the basketball team. You voting for your team so you can go to work and talk about the team. You are on the side of the team. Y'all is like, F them kids. We about this team. And that's when I had to really going in 2025. I'm streamlining, trying to see how we're going to approach 2025 with the project. What we gonna do? Hmm, what a project! Once you start putting everything into perspective, you see that the project was started here, for these reasons, and they don't apply anymore. And you pause and realize, damn it, what am I doing? Let's wrap this thing up. The audit is done. And then what I needed to tell you came into fruition. I don't need to tell you everything that I know. Just need to tell you the parts you need to know. Talk to some people, do your own research. Quit getting your research like every discovery European, every continent named European from everything, every animal on the planet been named by European. Ain't nothing, nobody named nothing else. So we was running around here stupid until y'all got ink pens. Do some research yourself. Talk to these people. If the white man has a Native American in his family and the black man got a Native American in his family, all y'all couldn't have came over here on no boat. It's not even possible. Let's use some common sense, people. Discernment is a word for a reason. We need to start using it because the stuff don't make sense when you see the size of the ships that they brought 10 million of y'all over here on. And here the crazy part. They always tell you how many black people they brought over here. Where's the record of how many white folks they brought over? It got to be 16 cajillion, ain't it? I know they talking about this person came through New York City, and we got some records over here. You know, they showed you in a movie one time. That's a book this big. Get out of here. But hey, I'm gonna wrap this on up. Like I said, I had to take a look at this from this perspective. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Funny thing about wisdom, you don't get wisdom until you've tried a few hundred times and failed. And then you say, maybe I should try something else. Big Perk, you've been audited. See y'all doing something else.